They'll be calling you a radical, so get this. You know, I'm in the rehab center for my open heart surgery because I don't watch TV. I'm up this morning having some coffee, and they got the TV on Fox 13, local Utah. 2 nuclear waste stories. Now get this. Fox News Utah has said the F word. Fox News Utah, they've said it. They did a piece. I recorded it, threw it on Facebook. I don't dare put it on ScrewTube, but get this. What's the story? Fox News Utah. And they live footage over there in Fukushima. Radioactive rice being turned into low carbon plastic. Yay! Are you kids? They said I never took a stroke. I told my nurse, I says, come here. I nearly stroked out. I fell off my freaking recliner. So the story in front of that was radioactive waste coming from Europe to southern Utah. When you know full well the San Onofre's waste, they won't report Energy Solutions though. Right there where they live, 60 miles from the crow flies where they're reporting this. Their studios in Salt Lake. Energy Solutions. San Onofre's waste is coming here. San Onofre, oh, it's low level. It's higher radioactive than what they report on coming from Europe to southern Utah. They had an accident there. Look it up. It's on the NRC's website. I reported it from the bone marrow transplant center at LDS East State when I was in there dying on January 30th, 2012. The only media in the world, now think about this. Think about this, and I get no credit. I get nothing. It's the way they got to go with that. Left, Harding. Get this. Here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 12. Great number. Wow. So, get this. I go out, it's the San Onofre hot reactor, they're trying to keep it quiet. Biggest truck ever built in the Western United States. I have to rent a car, go out, search and search, try to time it, I can't find anything, go out there and I catch it coming up over the valley and videoed it. I'll post the video. Did you see Fox News? Did you see KSL? Did you see, ABC, 4, 2, all these news outlets? None of them. It's hot. They had an accident there. Look it up. They had to open up the vent and all over. They're bringing it all here every day. Every day. You won't report that. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable. So Fox News says the F word. Why would they possibly? They won't say Fukushima. They're in Fukushima. And I'm screaming at them to say it. All of KSL, any of them. They won't mention it. They mention it 4,400 days later. 12 years later. Radioactive rice being made into plastic? What? It's mind-boggling. It blows my mind. We're the original downwinders. Fuck. And I can prove it. I lived in the bone marrow transplant center at LDS off and on for 5 years. I lived there. I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. Now, get this. This is not opinion. I'll take you in there. I verified it. You go in there. What does southern Utah make of the Utah population? 5%? Go in there any given day. Over half the people in there from southern Utah. I mean, it's incredible. There we go. All day, every day. All weeks we will pretend. What is that? Lightning. F-35s. The greatest loot job in northern history. I mean, it just drowns you out all day, every day. You're in the ICU trying to recover, and this is what you hear. You're trying to take a test. You're trying to sleep your kids. This is what you hear all day, all night. I mean, I'm blown away at this. So get this. Kevin Blanch, 7th generation Utah. I mean, my family's so, look up Claude Blanch, look up Harold Blanch. You want to talk decorated? Probably the most decorated pilot since World War II. It's my uncle from here, who raised me. Harold, who stood on Omaha Beach, battled the bulge, and my dad, who gave his life, the Marine, nuked to death in the Nevada test site. They try to make a sequel out of me. I'm so Utah that my social media addresses were showing up as my residence LDSC state bone marrow transplants. That's how Utah I am. I mean, my lines are so infamous here, but they just spit at me. So, the Enola Gay hangers, I do all that work with Jim out there. In Utah, Sudoku, folding 1,000 paper cranes, she got to 644 and, of course, died post the bomb. The Enola Gay flew out of Utah. So they come. Her own niece and great nephew come and present a real one. There's only a couple in the whole United States. I'm the second guy that got to hold it in my hand. She presented me, her great niece presented me with a recycled fan made from folded paper cranes and started to cry. And they both hugged me and told me, thank you for all your historic work you've done, Kevin Blanch. You know, because in Japan I wasn't censored. You know, and they got all the early reports. Go ask Rachel Godoy, go ask Kathy Iwani. You know, Senator Alfred shut down my historic work here, protecting Utah, shutting down Blue Castle from the bone. Go ask Fimbo. He'll tell you I'm the guy that daggered Blue Castle. My historic work on Energy Solutions, my historic work on NewScale, but they won't touch me. But they say the F word 4,400 days later in this context. So they have me that we have international media all over the world there. No Utah media. Not one single Utah media showed up. I guess Jim says somebody, Channel 4, showed up late. I sat in Tippett's chair at the dinner. We restored it. Videos to prove it. On the 75th anniversary, me and my grandson out there, Jim let him slide down the fire pole, first person ever. Historic footage, incredible footage. Shot the video of this the hot reactor coming in. This is the radioactive place. This, the Wallace Curse, I call it. This house got built in 1975 when Utah Construction, who built the reactors at Fukushima, they built them all over, merged with GE. Utah Construction was the parent. Billions of dollars by today's standards was left to this university, you know, and then you wonder why I got blackballed. And you wonder why the state of Utah blackballs me. Pro-nukers, NewScale were funding the fairy tale. All our ancestors. Scott Matheson is rolling over in his grave right now. The last decent governor we had. I asked Herbert right too. He lied to my face about the waste coming in. You know, Cox didn't even know what I was talking about. There's video. I'm at the Bear River Massacre. Now, why would Cox and Reyes show up there? And I asked Cox, this wasn't long before he became governor. He said that this was Washington territory. I said, no. Why you are in your ignorance of public? Or excuse me, he said, this is Utah territory, Franklin, Idaho. I said, this was never freaking Utah territory. This was Washington territory. Well, that's not what we were told. I said, I thought you were running for governor. Sean Reyes told me that. I said, you related to Jose Reyes and NewScale? We're funding these? The Reyes connection? No, I'm not related to that guy. What about the SMRs? He told me he didn't even know what those were. Governor Cox, right before he became governor, told me he didn't even know what an SMR. And then next thing you know, he signs a contract with Bill Gates right there in Wyoming to bring terra firma, little nuke reactors to Utah. We're fine. What happened here? I don't know. But if you don't think Weber State blackballs people, I want you to look up Watt Misaka, the first player color in the history of the NBA. 2 national championships. Born and raised in Ogden, Utah. 2 national championships. At Weber State. Before he went to the U, Final Four. Played with Vern Gardner from here, taught school right here at Bonneville High School. With the great Arnie Farron from Ogden. Why don't they retire his number here? Why? First player color in the history of the NCAA. They won the national championship, the last team from Utah to ever win anything. No basketball team's ever won anything. Well, I take what? The 1971 Utah Stars. Zelmo Beatty, Willie Wise. That was a team. Not the Jazz, not Weber State. University of Utah got to the championship game. You know, Majerus. Not BYU. Danny Ainge got sent packing right there. Huge upset in there. The Wallace Curse. So, Final Four week, right? Weber lost in double overtime in the brick fight, but how can Fox News possibly? I mean, it's disturbing. I'm in the rehab center, as you know. chalking up a multi-million-dollar bill because I got kicked off Medicaid in 2050. I got AML leukemia, as you know, went in the bone marrow on 11/11/11/2. The world's foremost expert on Fukushima, the world's foremost expert on nuclear fallout. You're looking at him. Oh, I don't sleep drinking. I sleep with it. Yeah, what, Utah? I'm 7th generation. Abe Hunsaker IV, my grandfather. Without Abe first, there is no freaking. I mean, my bloodline, Ike Potter. Ella Potter's my grandmother. I mean, Moses Tracy's granddaughter is my other grandma. I mean, these historic lines of mine. And they just spit at me. My Special Forces incredible father. You know, my uncles. I mean, talk about patriots. You ain't seen patriots. Look them up. So, they say the F word. Won't mention Fukushima, won't Fukushima, downwards getting pounded. 4,400 days, 12 years after the fact. Radioactive rice being turned into low-carbon plastic. By the way, the radioactive rice has been here. We never restricted the food here. We crashed the Radnet dishes and took them down. I'm the first guy that reported all this. But what did I get for it? That's what I got for it. Split me open, pour me out. There's things inside that scream and shout. Because I did the Unforgiven. Well, Fox News, you just did the Unforgiven. Gotta go with that left, Jarek. Fox News just did the Unforgiven. Don't say the F word. Fox News has said the F word. Fox News Utah has said the F word. Never free, never me. I did the Unforgiven. Kevin Blanch reported and did all the Tide Pool work, all the Energy Solutions work, all the Blue Castle work, all the New Scale work in Vienna, Austria at the Blanch box, in the Peace Vigil in D.C., in New York City blocking the bailouts, in Ohio blocking the backouts, doing the Tide Pool work in California, the salmon work in Oregon. Oh, by the way, all salmon fishing is closed up and down the entire thing. Just like Kevin Blanch said it would. We had record returns in 2011, 12, 13. Just a coincidence, bro. So Fox News has said the F word. I did the Unforgiven. Never free, never me. I just did the greatest PhD in history. I can join the ranks of Fawn McKay Brody and Wamasaka. What a feather. Stay tuned.